What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to teach you how to balance the gimbal. Very easy to do. It's got to be simple, to the point, very thorough on one of the little details that everybody kind of skip. Let's just jump into it, and I'm going to show you how to attach the camera, balance it so the motors will never overheat and you're going to be just working with the gimbal for a long time without any shake or any kind of issues. First things first, we have to make sure that we're going to set up the position of this gimbal to stationary. This is how it comes with. You can just attach the core to the actual battery. We're going to skip this step. We're just going to go back to the balancing. So you always want to have this arm on your right side. Always on the right side. Just like you would tighten some of the C-stands, you always tighten on the right side. So we're going to attach by just clicking this pin and leave this handle like so. Then unlock this right here and leave it like so. So this is the beginning position. We're going to take our camera, so we have Sony a7S III right here. So we're going to make sure that we're going to put in the battery. Then we're going to put in the SD cards. We're going to put on the lens. And this is pretty heavy lens, 24-70. We're going to take off the cap. This is one of the most common mistakes that people would not take off their caps. You got to prepare your camera to be ready for a shoot. So every single time, if you have the camera and you wanted to attach some, let's say a shotgun mic on top of it or an external monitor, you want to do it before balancing the gimbal. When you set everything and everything is ready to shoot, then only then you will balance the gimbal. So I'm gonna attach this camera, and all you do is just put this camera in all the way, tighten this knob. I always, with zoom lenses 24-70, I want to make sure that I think about what will I use, what kind of focal length I use, going to be using the most during the time of using the gimbal and the camera. So majority of the time I'm shooting kind of in between the 24-70, so I would set zoom right at about 40 millimeters, between 24 and 70 somewhere. If you're shooting quite a bit longer focal length range, like 70, you want to make sure you get closer to the 70. But I use all that focal length. Sometimes I go wide, sometimes I go tight. So I put it right in the middle, and I want to make sure that camera turns on, everything is good, and now I'll be ready to shoot like this. Side screen is out the way I like it, the way I'm gonna be using it. I'm gonna just turn it off. That should be good. Battery and everything is here, so I'm ready to go with this camera now. First things first, we're gonna unlock and point the camera up. With the lens facing up, I want to make sure I create a line right here. I create like this border, and whichever side the camera is falling to, that means I need to put a little bit more weight the opposite way. So in this case, camera is front heavy. I will just unscrew this piece and slide just a little bit to the back and then start releasing. It's still front heavy. Move it just a little bit more and try to release it. Now it's not moving, it's staying. I'm gonna tighten it up. Keep in mind, all these knobs, you can move them up and attach them the way you like it. So if it sticks out like so and you just don't want it to be sticking out, you obviously tighten it, it's good. You lift this all the way up and then position it the way you want it to be, so it's not protruding and not annoying you. So now, as you can see, I'm moving, everything is great. Now I'm gonna be making sure that everything is balanced this way when the camera looks forward, and I can see that it's front heavy. So that means I need to move the weight backwards. Open this knob. I don't go all the way out, halfway, and it's plenty. Then I'm using this little wheel. So this little wheel controls that moving forward and backward, and it has those rivets that allows you to, instead of like sliding the camera, you move it and you making it precise. I moved everything, I lock it because I can see that it stays. So now, no matter how you put it, up, sideways, backwards, it will stay. It's not gonna go anywhere. That means you know that this side right here is balanced. So we're going to go ahead and lock it. Now we're moving on to the next. balancing this side right here. So we're gonna open it up. So I'm creating a border this way, and I want to see which way it falls down. So if it falls down to the left, that means I need to move more weight to the right. So again, like I'm gonna open up, move this up, and adjust it. Now I can, with carbon fiber, and actually is really good, so it slides so much smoother. I'm gonna move this to the right just a little bit and lock it. Now as you can see, I'm moving to the left, to the right, it stays. So that is balanced. We're gonna lock this. Now this is the one that everybody's like have their own way of doing things, and I feel that's just, if you're not strong enough to hold that gimbal sideways, this is the best way to balance it. So you unlock the pen. I use this tripod, and all I do is I'm gonna just hold this and I'm gonna just tilt to the left or to the right. And as you can see, again, I'm creating that border every time I tilt to the side just by using these handles. I can tell that this side closer to me is heavier. Unlock this knob and move just a little bit forward. So we want to opposite from what is dropping. So we're gonna move this just a little bit forward, and I just pre-close it. I don't close it all the way. You don't need to tighten it. And you see, I think I overdid it because now it's front heavy. It falls down that way. So now we're gonna open it up, go a little bit to the back, close it halfway. Now we're talking. Now I don't see no movement to the back. Super. So now it's good. We lock it. We'll lock this side. Turn on the gimbal, and it's perfectly balanced, but you always want to make sure after balancing is done, you want to do the auto check. And the way it's done is you hold the M button and you hold the trigger button simultaneously, same time, and hold it until the camera starts shaking. Now don't freak out, it's not doing something wrong. It is balancing and auto tunes itself. Just to make sure that everything works great before you actually start shooting. It creates this weird noise. It's absolutely okay. Now when it says it's done, you can see that everything is balanced, everything is great. So you can go ahead and go shoot with your gimbal. So this is how you balance your gimbal. Super easy, super simple.